And since I was the youngest chap in the delegation, the more senior one said, "You sit through this. Yeah? We don't want Castro to think that Burma is
turn the back on him."
yeah. So I sat through 6 hours of his speech.
Was it good?
Well, it was in Spanish, no?
So you didn't have the translation?
Yeah, there was a translation, but he was, repeating the same thing all the time. Yeah. And that was the time when Khrushchev banged his shoes on the table.
Right.
Because he felt that he was the representative of the most powerful nation in the world. Whatever he said should go. Yeah? Yeah. And the president of the General Assembly was an Irishman. Right. And when the Irishmen tried to stop him, Khrushchev said, "I am the representative of the most powerful nation in the world, and you, from some insignificant country, is trying to stop me from speaking." Right. And the president, when he heard that, he got very angry and banged his gavel, and the gavel broke and flew off. So everyone saw that on television, and the next day, lots of gavels were sent from all over America to the president. But for me, I was wondering, what am I doing exactly halfway around the world from my home? Right. My little daughter was only 7 months old at that time. If war should break out now, I'll be away.
Or in the world.
In the world, because there was Khrushchev bang. So
that was the time when there was the Cuban missile
crisis. Yeah, it came after that. Yeah, because at that time John F. Kennedy had not been elected as yet, but we saw the elections were coming soon.
And your own political future at that point was you felt safe as a politician, a Burmese politician?
Yeah, at that time, it seemed to be okay, because the caretaker government of Ne Win had said, we are going to have return to democracy. But the problem was that his chosen team were completely beaten. And they all wore red.
Right.
But they went and voted yellow.
People voted yellow.
So
it sounds like history. It sounds like his history, that he didn't win elections, but he took power.
Yeah. So he had already taken power in 1958.
Yeah.
At that time, he had mounted a coup, but UNU said, "Why don't you just take it over?
Right.
Take it over. Don't shoot or do anything." But after some time, hold an election to see what the people really want. So he did hold the election and he lost. But he had felt that the power had gone out of his hands, so he needed an excuse. And the excuse was the frontier areas and all the ethnic minorities wanting a federal union, instead of someone completely in charge. So he took over the country. And I think if you can get that book, that would be just great. That book, it describes everything in there.
And U Thant, he was a big presence in the UN, wasn't he?
He was, at the time that I went there, he was the leader of the Burmese delegation.
Right.
And at that time there was something going on in Africa, and Moaz Shombe was taking power, and they had captured Lumumba. The soldier slung him like a pig on his shoulder, and we were trying to save him. And we sat down during the night, and it was the Afro-Asian group that got together and tried to. So U Thant was the head of that group during that month.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was he like?
He's he's an educated chap. No, he's fond of going out and lecturing at the universities, at Yale University, and so on. In fact, one night he had gone to lecture at the university, and on the way back to New York, 13 inches of snow fell. And when he came back to the city, the snow had started falling. And being a Burmese chap,
Not
he
Mumsy weather.
I know, he said to the driver, he said to his chauffeur, take the car home. No, because he thought it might inconvenience the driver to have to go home during a snowstorm. But when this driver went back home, there were 13 inches of snow fell into the streets of New York, and the cars could go anywhere. And U Thant had always traveled in a chauffeured limousine, so he didn't know how to go home. I had to take him home by subway and by bus to his house, because he didn't know how to get back home himself, because we were discussing Lumumba's fate during the night, and
that was quite tragic for the
Cambodia. But then next month Cambodia was supposed to be the chairman, but Sihanouk said, let U Thant be the chairman again. He doesn't want his chap to be the chairman. So U Thant was there for 2 months as head of this Asia-African group. So when his predecessor died in a plane crash in Africa, I think most of the people knew him, and he was elected as the Secretary General.
Yeah. He was good in your opinion?
Yeah. But I don't know what he had done, because when I went back home, I was an honored guest of the government for the next 5 years.
Yeah? Oh, you were put in jail?
Yeah.
As soon as you arrived?
Not as soon as I arrived. When I got back, the Shan State Steering Committee co-opted me, because when they first set up the committee, I was away abroad. When I got back, they co-opted me into the main committee, and then they made me one of the subcommittee members who actually drew up the document.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you were actively involved in that, or?
Well, I was the only one who held a law degree in that group.
Right.
So
you were a main player.
Yeah, I one of the generals, I think, what was his name, Brigadier Tempe, referred to me as the legal brain behind that.
So did they come for you at night time or daytime when they arrested you?
No, actually, they didn't arrest me on the night of the coup. It was only later.
Right.
The coup was in March. They came and took me in only in April, after they had interrogated a few of the others.
They were come for you?
I knew at some point they might be coming for me. Right. Yeah.
So you were a political prisoner?
Yeah.
5 years?
5 years.
In San. Did they treat you humanely, or the?
Well, when you say humanely, I was put in a brick building with steel bars on it, and outside of that steel building was a barbed wire fence, and outside of that barbed wire fence was an 18-foot brick wall with machine gun nests. Instead of just, in the old days, they used to have an Indian jailer up there shouting, it's 10 o'clock, like, Das Bajaho. But during our days, there was a machine gun nest there.
Right. And did they try to break your spirit or dignity? Take away your dignity?
No.
So we allowed books to read? Or?
At first, they gave us books. They also provided journals and newspapers. But when they decided that Burma would become a socialist country, no more money for books or anything.
Right.
Yeah. And so our family had to send money for our upkeep as well. Yeah.
Did you have to dress in a prison uniform?
No.
Uniform. And you were kept away from the criminal?
Yeah, we were in a separate. There's a small jail outside the. It's called the annex jail.
Right.
Outside the big compound. So, in that jail there are two jail buildings, two-story buildings, and then there's another, let's say, at the back where condemned prisoners are kept before they are hung. Yeah. And then there's a sort of wooden building at the end. I think maybe it was the residence of the governor of the jail or something like that. But during our days, it was the Sopa of Yong Hoi who was kept there.
Right.
You know, two-story wooden building, all by himself. And he died in there under suspicious circumstances.
Right.
Yeah. But they built two new buildings near the kitchen, which is in the middle of the jail compound.
Right.
And those two new buildings were for Sokon Cho, the head of the Shan state government, and Sawona, the head of the Kaya state government.
Right.
So the two of them were in a house of their own.
Yeah. So they didn't torture you or anything?
No. The only torture was that you were separated from your family for
Yeah. And that was 5 years?
5 years.
And when you came
That was the first, I was the first group to come out.
Right.
There were 58 of us from the Shan state in there. The second group came out 1 year later, I think, and the third group came out after 8 years.
And did you get involved in politics when you came out?
No, we had to sign a bond that we would not be involved in politics or move about the country without permission from the military intelligence service.
And did you follow that? Or?
No, I had to follow that because there was another chap who has the same name as myself. He's the Soba of Mung Yai. And he asked for permission to go to Mung Yai, and they thought it was me. And the MIS sent me a letter saying, "You're not allowed to go."
Right.
And I said, "I never applied for to go anywhere like that." Yeah.
And did they keep you under surveillance when you were released?
I suppose they may have, Who would know? Yeah.
How do you view Burma now? I mean,
Burma now is a country of two types of persons. The generals and their family, who have billions of US dollars to build tunnels and underground command posts and all that sort of thing, and to buy missiles from North Korea, whereas the other class of people are the ones who don't even have enough food to eat and have to spend money to buy the water which has been used to boil the rice and to feed themselves only on that sort of water.
Does it distress you to see this and hear this?
Of course. Who would want to live in that sort of country? I still have relatives in there. Yeah.
And these elections, do you think they will change anything?
No, I don't think so at all. Yeah.
And as a lawyer, you must have looked at the Constitution. Is it flawed?
Yeah, of course, it's completely flawed. Yeah. When